We are happy today. Happy to have you here. This is season 3, episode 29 of DPF on Tap, brought to you by Jerseys. So Jerseys is over on 2609 Mount Carmel in Glenside. Really great place. A couple of things I kind of want to mention is, do they have a bar? Yeah. So if you just wanted to go to the bar, you can sit there. They got high tops, they got tables, they got booths. Yes, you can bring your family in. Yes, the food's good. Close to 20 beers on tap, over 25 TVs, a bottle shop of 200 plus bottles, and they are our sponsor. So please give them a like on Facebook and Instagram. They have both of those. We've been posting about them quite a bit. So appreciate you giving them some love, just like you give us. I love the food there. I think Rob, I don't know if you've been there. I know Mike has been there. A couple of our people just are regulars there. I've been going there probably since it opened. I used to live close enough to walk. And I did for obvious reasons, but
that's dangerous.
It was helpful.
Is what it is. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, thank you to Jerseys for being our sponsor of the podcast. Check them out. Show them some love. They are up in this corner. No, the other corner. But they're up in the corner, and it's scrolling across the bottom, their name. So it's Jersey Sports Bar. And the pizzas there is actually really good. They have you get the old school pizza on the pedestal. It's like old school in terms of the pizza's delicious. So thank you, Jersey.
Wings are
check them out.
Crispy too. Wings are crispy if you like crispy wings.
Cool.
Hey, so another great sponsor of ours with some seriously cool can art is Dr. Brew Littles. I'm hooked on this Orange Dog Nation White Ale. It's an easy drinking white ale, 5%. I also have on deck the Fandemic Crew beer. If you look, that's Caesar and Brett right there. They did a real good representation of those guys. That beer's on deck. But did the K33 tailgate last night. That was all Fandemic brews. So really good sponsor of ours. You could bring food in. I think I said this last time. There's an awesome pizza joint right down the block, 2 blocks down. You can go grab some pizza. I think there's food next door, and it's pet friendly. As Dugan said, you could even bring your pet snake if you like. Check them out. By the way, if you're going to your beer mart and they don't have Dr. Brew Littles, ask them for it.
Next up, top right-hand corner, Conshohocken beer. So I have Ring the Bell on tap. They just came out with the Fest beer. So 3 locations. Go check them out. Thank you for Conshohocken for supplying the fuel for this podcast.
Yeah, one more. I said that Brett and Caesar are on deck, but in the hole is this really good Blue Skies Sunny Haze. Again, another easy drinking. It's a 5.5, really citrusy. Love this from Iron Hill Brewery. Check out, guys, there's so many different locations. Check out a location near you. Their food is solid. The last one I went to was in Westchester. Really great staff there. Great beers. They have also the Philly favorite IPA. That one's a little amped up at a 6.7. So if you're doing that, do a ride share home. Check out Iron Hill. And again, if you're going to your local beer mart and they don't have these guys, ask for them because they support us. So we want to support them.
Yeah, I feel a little left out. I'm drinking powdered drink mix out of a water bottle.
We have to get a sponsor of that, Rob.
That's why I'm not mentioning their names. I have to contact them and say, hey, listen, fuckers, if you want to be on my show, well, not mine. I'm taking ownership. So yeah, let's get right into this. Let's talk about the series right now, the Phillies and the Mets. 3 games so far. The Phillies have looked pretty fucking dominant. We got a game tonight right after the pod. We're going to wait until we're done is what I hear, which we appreciate. And so far, this is what we want every time they play the fucking Mets, whether it's here, there, or any goddamn place. So I pulled up a little bit as far as how the Phillies are performing just in this series because, what have you done for me lately? And they're hitting 34 for 92. They got a 370 batting average in this series. They have 9 extra base hits, 5 home runs. which we really appreciate the Harper and Kepler home runs in garbage time, because that's when it matters. So I'll let one of you guys cover that. They've been hit by 5 pitches, which I think any other time. So let's say we lost any of these games, those 5 hit by pitches would be enough to send us into a frenzy. And they're also 9 for 25 with runners in scoring position, which we've been crying about. We've been talking about that all year. And they're up and down. They're a roller coaster. And in this series, they seem to be performing. And then the only thing that I don't like is the 28 strikeouts, which is 30.4% of their at-bats, which is up from their season average of like 24, right around 24%. But they're being aggressive. So I don't hate it. Hopefully we can pull the sweep off tonight. What do you guys think?
A couple of things, so with the outfield here, the outfield has 58 RBIs in the past, I think it's 10 games, something crazy. And I'm just like, wow. And a batting average of 288, which is first in the majors. Our outfield has the best batting average over the last, I think, 15 games. And it is beautiful to see Bader, an ex-Met. I love fucking beating the Mets, but man, I love it when it's an ex-Met that sticks it to him. Every time Wheeler beat him, and now Bader doing it to him. And he did it with him earlier this year. He's actually done it with the Twins. They hammered the Mets when he was with the Twins earlier. And then now here, do we have a new leadoff guy?
He might hate them more than we do.
Yeah.
Or at least as much.
Which is fine. Speaking of hating the Mets, I'm trying to be positive tonight, so just give me this little quick, constructive piece of criticism for Phillies fans. So I was at the game last night, and I'm walking around the tailgate, and I'm walking into CBP, and I'm going up to my seats, and I see more than several guys, and because it was more than several, it got on my nerves. There's like a guy in Phillies gear, and he's with his buddy who's in Mets gear. How in the hell are you a Phillies fan and you go, hey, buddy, who's a Mets fan, let's go to the game together? Fuck that. Secondly, I saw more than several couples. Mostly the women were Phillies fans, and the guys had Mets gear on. DPF women, little PSA. Dump those dirtbags. Dude, it's not going to work out. Later on down the line, you're going to have some sort of issue, and you're just going to look at them and be like, you're a fucking Mets fan, beat it. So just do it now. Don't take anyone from the Mets to CBP with you anymore. End of my tirade and PSA.
Well, you're not wrong about that. We were there the other night, Danielle and I, and we saw it as well. So, you want to run up to them and curse at them. You want to act like a complete jackass, but then you're like, all right, I have to act civilized. We're all here together. Just because we hate the Mets and we hate the Mets fans doesn't mean that we have to create a scene. But I have to agree with you, Mike. If you show up with a Mets fan, even if you're decked head to fucking toe in Philly stuff, but you got somebody in tow that's wearing orange. I didn't even wear orange sneakers that fucking day. Are you kidding me? And I love orange sneakers. And you got someone wearing any kind of Met gear, you lose your card, man.
Inexcusable.
I really believe that it's not a real thing. I don't think it's real. I think it's like one Mets fan that's dressing up as in Phillies gear so that they don't get fucked with. Right. I think it's a ruse. I think it's it can't be real. And I just went on the computer, are there Mets fans that are married to Phillies fans? And they said yes, but 100% divorce rate, 100%.
I believe that.
So just don't do it.
I love this. A Mets fan was ripping Soto in my section night one. It's fantastic.
We appreciate that. I think it's interesting that what pisses me off is we have a Mets fan we actually have a Mets fan in our booth, right? I mean, he's a Mets fan.
100%.
If you grew up a Mets, I'm sorry. Like, would you ever? You're an announcer, and be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to my rival. Would you ever do that? Could you do that? Now, playing is a different story, but there's 32 other teams you can announce for. Why would you like? And he was the Met, so T-Mac, super nice dude. I just question his loyalty. And then his what was that? His granddaughter came in.
Yep.
Yeah, wearing Mets gear.
Oh,
because his son works for the Mets, right?
I know, but it's not okay. I'm just not okay with it. I don't like it. I don't want to see it.
You don't like it either.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not condoning this sort of behavior, but perhaps we could pull a little Raising Arizona action and make sure that she grows up a Phillies fan. You know, that would be the wrong thing to do. So real quick, guys, talk about the Phillies pitching in this series. It's been pretty fucking dominant. Our starting pitching has been what we expected it to be all year long. Nola gave us 6 solid innings, shutout ball. Sanchez last night was great. Ranger the other night was fucking awesome. Career high in strikeouts. Tonight we got Luzardo going. So I expect another double-digit fucking K performance. That makes me feel really good going into October.
Well, you're teeing me up for 2 of my topics, so I think I'll just go into them, right? So
call me Dr. Segway.
Dr. Segway, baby. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about Nola because, you know, we're very critical when he's terrible, which is most of the time the last couple of years. But, you know, let's give him some credit. September 8th game, 6 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts, no walks, clearly a 0 ERA and a 0 whip, right? And then, you know, comparatively against his season this year, he's averaging of about 5 innings, 5 1/3. He's allowing a little under 1 1/4 hits an inning. He's averaging just under an earned run in inning pitched. His strikeouts are about 9 per 9 innings. His walks are about 3 per 9 innings, and he's, you know, everybody knows he's got a 6.78 ERA and a 1.51 WHIP. But, you know, he's now looking a little bit like the Nola of a few years ago in a couple of outings. Okay, so he had a pretty good outing, he had a terrible outing, and now he had a really good outing on the 8th. I'll just segue right into it. Like tonight, like Butcher, like you said, Luzardo is going tonight against the Mets. Clearly a left-handed pitcher. Tomorrow is the Buehler experiment, right? He goes against the Royals. He's a righty. He did okay in Lehigh in his one game. Gave up 3 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts, and a walk. So, you know, we'll see how he does tomorrow. This is, you know, kind of the precursor to what are we going to do to set up the rotation in the playoffs, right? Saturday we get Walker against the Royals, and then Sunday Nola. And then you got 3 against the Dodgers. They're all TBD, but it'll probably be Suarez and Sanchez unless he starts to try and shift through, you know, the order of our guys, because, you know, right now all the lefties are lined up and all the righties are lined up. So that's a Topper Chronicles type situation right there. But we have
or meanwhile
Kansas,
in Pennsylvania.
Or right.
Well, that's
You know.
true.
2 days later.
You know, then we have Arizona after that for 3. An off day on Monday. Then Miami for 3, Minnesota for 3 finishes us out on Sunday the 28th. The wild card series is 9:30 to 10-2. That's the best of 3, where the team with the best record hosts all 3 games. Then you go to the divisional series is 10-4 to 10-11, best of 5. And then you got the LCSs, which is 10-13 to 10-21, World Series 10-24 to 11-1. So I just kind of dove in a little bit. Kansas City, who's coming up after tonight's Mets sweep, they're 10 back at Detroit. They just got Witt Jr. back off the IL. and they're 4 back in the wild card. So they still have what do they have?
Aspirations to make the playoffs, you know.
Yeah, there's like 16 games left. So, they're chasing that third wild card, being 4 games back. Then we're facing a right-handed pitcher, Lorenzen, on tomorrow on Friday. He's 5-10 with a 4.63 ERA against Bueller. Then another righty on Saturday, Berghardt against Walker. He's 2-2 with a 3.48 ERA. And then Cameron's a lefty on Sunday against Nola, 7-7 record, 3 ERA. So that's the next series, right? They're gonna play tough, I think, because they're chasing that wild card. But the one after that is the one where we're gonna have to buckle down. That's the Dodgers series. Got 3 games against the Dodgers. They're 82-64, which is number 1 in the West. They're 4 games behind us for that second bye. San Diego's 3 games behind them in the West, and San Francisco's 8 games back. So, everything's TBD for pitching for both teams in that series. But I think this is going to be a super interesting sprint. That's why I put under my name, the race is on. This last 16 games, sprint to the end. The offense is looking good the last couple of days. We've been pitching well all year with, minor hiccups here and there. But, I just like the way that the year is rounded out here. Just kick it over to you guys for your thoughts on all that.
Yeah, a couple things with the Nola. When do I think he's okay? However many shitty games he's pitched in a row, it's going to take that many in a row good ones for me to say, okay. And that means 2026, guys.
Right.
He's a number 4 starter. I don't give 2 fucks if there's 3 left-handers go in a row. I don't think it matters worth a shit. And I'm not putting Aaron Nola in a game 3 if we're tied up 1-1, because then you're down 2-1. I just don't trust this dude. He's never pitched good in the playoffs. He always shits his bed in September. I am done with the Nola kind of 2025, maybe 2026, because what choice do we have? So that's kind of my opinion with the Nola stuff. As far as moving forward, Walker Bueller, I don't know, man. This dude has been terrible too. He's the Boston Nola, is what he was this year. Boston hates this dude. But he has had this playoff experience and performance. Now, we know the Phillies don't have enough nuts to pitch him 3rd or 4th. That's not going to happen, even if he makes the roster. It's just, we'll see what happens here. I think that he's just this guy that's going to pitch 2 or 3 games, and then he's done with the Phillies. He's not moving on. I'd rather have Taiwan pitch 3 and Nola pitch 3 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Bueller is definitely filler. And I think they signed up to eat some innings here in the stretch.
Yep.
And then, he might be available if an injury happens. But I don't think that he is, I don't think he's going to be relied upon like he was last year in the playoffs for the Dodgers. He threw the last pitch of the fucking World Series, this guy. And then what the fuck? And that shows you how fucking fickle this game is. I think you beat up the fucking Royals in this next series after the Mets, because you just need wins at this point. I do agree that we need to take the series against the Dodgers because we don't want them creeping up on us. But let's stack wins. Let's stack wins any way we can get them, because that makes us harder to catch on all fronts. And stack, as far as we line up these pitchers, I agree with Chris that lefty doesn't bother me when it's 3 lefties that have double-digit wins and ERAs that are sub-4. You know what I mean? This is teams dream of this. Organizations dream of this. Would I like to have one of those guys out of the bullpen in a fucking tight spot? Maybe, but I'm not going to start Nola instead. Especially in the playoffs. I'm just not at this point. And the apologists, those are the happy clappers, guys. Those are the guys who say he's done it before. Well, guess what? He's not fucking 28 years old anymore. And his pitches aren't moving the way they were when he was 28 years old.
Velocities 3 to 5 miles an hour or lower.
Precisely. So that's as far as that's the grace that he gets. You know, he needs to win out to gain any sort of favor with us.
I think favor with us is going to be very difficult to come by. You know, when you
Correct.
think about
Correct.
that, you know, especially Nola. I feel like we're particularly difficult on him, but he's like the homegrown guy that, you know, we've seen, and it's like when he was good, what was his problem? 0-2 pitches. And it's like, that's the easiest thing. Just don't throw a strike, Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't throw a strike. It was simple as that. Yeah,
what are you gonna
do anything. And then that's a lot of his problems were 0-2.
Right.
You have a catcher that 99% of your starts is JT, who can block a pitch, just bounce it. Like, even if it's not competitive, bounce the knuckle curveball, like up and in fastball. Oh my God, why not that? You know,
Francisco Alvarez and Castellanos will swing at those 9 out of 10 times.
Every fucking time.
Terrible.
Yeah, going back to what you were talking about real quick with the platoon in the outfield hitting as well as they are. We have a true platoon now, and it's working. So
I hope it's not a true platoon though, because I don't want Nick to play much.
Right.
You know, I will tell you,
kind of like
Kepler's home run got out in a hurry, guys. I sit up in like right center, and that ball got out in a rush. So did Soto's, by the way. But
did you see Kepler's interview after the game when he broke his bat and still got a single? Okay. No. Well, it's on social media, so I didn't know. I didn't want to like.
No, I didn't say it.
So he's like, you know, why did you do that? He's like, I didn't want to be a hardo, but you know, sometimes you got to be a hardo. And I'm like, what the fuck's a hardo? Yeah, it's like that's what his term was. And he's like, I did it once before, but he's like, he got a hit on it, and he broke his bat.
He possibly has been hanging out with Ruben.
Oh, it could have been. Yeah, that's one of those terms that I was just like, I don't know, Max, dude. Like, yeah. See, Amanda even caught that one. Yeah. She's like, hardo. Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Guys, keeping on the Mets thing, I want to talk about the unique disparity that we have in the Major League Baseball. That's very, very unique.
Very unique.
I will kind of shout out some numbers. There's a team in the major leagues that is 20 games above 500 at home and 13 below on the road. So, like,
who's that be, Chris?
That's the Mets. This is a statistical anomaly. And, you know, it's interesting. We put up this post that, like, I'm just questioning, like, what's going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty confident that there is something. So, you know, what do the Mets fans say? Well, why didn't we use it against the Marlins? Well, I feel like it's one of those things where, like, we should beat the Marlins anyway. Do we really need that? So maybe they don't use it against certain teams, and maybe they do use it against others, because 20 games above and 13 below. Francisco Lindor, you know, I've spoke about this before. He has like 300 less OPS on the road.
That's insane.
That's not a statistical anomaly. Right. There's not some magic that the Mets get in Citi Field and they're like, wow, we're really good now. Everyone's yelling for us and we're really good. And we know every pitch that's coming. Yeah. I do feel like there's something rotten. I think that Bohm doing that whole, you know, fucking satellite thing that's been there since 2017, unnecessary. And it already, like, we already think the dude's a crybaby, and then you do something like that. But, you know, the Phils obviously aren't doing this because they're winning like 1-0. I mean, the Mets are throwing out Sean Manaea, who is like, this dude's washed. Like, I don't know. Otto Kemp hits the home run and like his head's going down. Like, I was just like, all right, this is fucking, this series is over. You know, whether tonight they win or lose, Peterson's going and they have a really difficult time against this dude.
Right.
So, you know.
Two things. There's been two teams that have had this same kind of home and away dominance since 2000.
Is this going to be the trivia?
Two teams. No.
Not a trivia.
No. But can you guess? I mean,
it's Houston is one of them,
it's
obviously.
not.
Really?
It's not. No, it's the Rays and like the Reds in 2007 and 2000 and whatever, 11 or something. Or no, 2008.
Houston was cheating equally on the road and at home. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
But guess who is the director of hitting? It's the Mets.
It's the former Astros.
Beltran?
Yeah.
It's the former Astros director of hitting.
Oh, okay. All these little tips and tricks. I don't know. Like, can they know every reliever's tell? But no one else in the world does. I mean, Romano has a tell. He just throws it over to fucking
He just
Cleveland.
throws
So,
it.
like,
He's in the windup. His tell is he's about to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like maybe Amanda, someone should seriously look into it. Like, just saying. And also, you said something about Meanwhile in Pennsylvania or whatever a couple minutes ago. I think 94.1 subscribes to us too, because ever since you've been talking about this, they've been talking about it on a couple of their shows.
I think it's a unique possibility that, there are some statistical anomalies, like not everyone now. So the whole team, yes. Lindor, yes. The pitchers, they're a little bit better in Citi Field because it's a hitter's park. I'm not surprised at that, right? Their ERA is a little bit better there, but I'd expect it. But, certain people, I'm like, man, like how can Lindor be like an MVP candidate at home? And he is, he's Bryce Harper on the road.
Right. He's
absent.
Yeah, absent, not good.
Well, moving forward, guys, we got a couple injuries right now, and the first one I want to talk about is Trey, because he was leading the league in hits, and he was up over 300, and he was really like he had turned into the consistent player that we signed a few years ago, and we hoped he would be all throughout. He's got 36 steals. I mean, that kind of snuck up on me, that stat. He's hitting a couple home runs, but I mean, he's doing his job. 94 runs scored, so he's going to score over 100 if he. But is he coming back this year, or is he definitely out for the rest of the season?
I think it'll be like the last two games, if anything, just so he gets his timing back. But I think he's not getting the 200 hits, and
not getting 200 hits, not going to score 100 runs.
No,
which is unfortunate. But you know what? You miss time, you miss time. If he's back for the playoffs and he's healthy, then good stuff. The other guy, Wheeler's out. We know that. Win it for Wheels. It's, I really think that when they try, they really have him in mind because he is such a leader that they want to win for him. And then this other injury, I think might be a phantom injury, to be perfectly honest. I think Alec Bohm might be just.
Sorry.
Yeah, I thought Romano was where you were going.
Romano.
You know what? It's really funny because I got stuck on Bohm. I completely forgot about Romano. I almost forgot he was on this team until Chris started. Like when you said that. But just real quick with Bohm, right before he got hurt in his last 5 games, I think he had 3 hits and 21 at bats. Struck out 8 times, something like that. No, 1 extra base hit, and it was a fucking triple. He walked once in 5 games. Like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, so essentially he's not good right now. And
so guys, stay with me here with cartoons.
Absolutely.
When we were kids with the Bohm thing. I remember a Cowardly Lion that had like or maybe it was Bugs Bunny, one of the big monster, had a splinter. And it was like the worst thing in the world, but it was like this humongous monster, but it was this little splinter. And I feel like, is that Bohm? Like the slightest inconvenience he's like, I'm hurt. I'm not doing well.
We've seen plenty of head cases in this city, for our sports teams. And I do believe he qualifies.
Yeah.
The glare in Citi Field. I fucking hate this place. I mean, he has a history of getting a splinter, and then Bugs Bunny puts curlers in his hair, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
I know exactly
that's
who
it.
you're. I know
I
exactly.
know
who you're talking
exactly.
about.
You remember it though, 'cause
And you
I'm
know
like,
what's funny?
wait, there's like,
Is that he was orange, so maybe that's a little foreshadowing. Maybe he'll be a Met next year.
Oh.
Maybe he'll be a
That-
Met next year.
Alonzo for Bohm?
How
I
about
tried
just
to make
Bohm?
Nola a Met. You know, I sung a whole fucking song about it.
Yes, you did.
Embarrassed.
Which is it? Which I
myself.
heard was climbing the charts in Germany. So
Oh well,
or
that's
Poland. Well, it's one of those places.
well, it's yeah. I mean, it's been translated in a few languages, so that's good.
This is correct. So I know that Bowman is going to get healthy at some point. It's just like a shoulder strain. He's going to come back. He's going to be back at third base. But to be honest, Otto Kemp hit the home run the other day. He fucking hurt Sean Manaea's feelings. And I like Sosa on the field. I think we all do. I think we've all come to that conclusion wherever they can get him in. So, I want a healthy team going into October. I think we all do. But some healthier than others, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna butt in. I do have a trivia. I knew you knew I would, right, Chris?
I figured. I mean,
Of all the players, all time, there are 2 that have hit 50 home runs in a season and 4 home runs in a game in their career. Can you name them?
Yes, I saw this the other day. It was Schwarber. Is it Hank Aaron or
It's not Hank Aaron, but it is Schwarber.
Eugenio Suarez. I know he had 4 this year, and I feel like that dude hit 40 plus a couple times. I don't know, like who else is a 4 home run guy? This is like a very unique
There's
group
only
of
21 of them.
individuals.
There's
Yeah,
only 21 of them.
and it has to be 50, so that kind of changes.
was
things.
it Willie
Yeah.
Mays? I know.
Willie Mays.
Yeah,
You got
I
it.
remember seeing it. I knew it was one of those guys.
Dude, think about that for a second. All time, Willie Mays and Schwarber. Can we let this guy go?
No,
We can't let him go, right?
no, you have to pay him. But at what expense? Like, what do you lose to keep him?
I'm still not on the signed Schwarber boards unless we win the World Series, and then I don't give a fuck what they do for the year.
This
Honestly,
is true. Give us a parade.
But if we don't make it, I feel like it's time to really, shake things up. And while I don't want to lose him, I'd rather lose some of the other long-term dead weights that we kind of have on the team. Mike, you talked about the rotation a little bit, so I want to do something fun in between here, and I want to just talk about. I want to just put out some hated Mets, right? And I want to do it like top of your head, no practice. You guys didn't know this was coming, so I'm going to start with one that I just hated. This guy, the '86 Mets, I hated for obvious reasons. I was 12. I remember it was the first time my mom heard me say fuck. Obviously, I said fuck 1,000 times, but it was the first time, like, in my house, I'm watching the game. My dad was out, like, doing a DJ job, and, like, when the ball went under Buckner's legs, I was like, fuck. I was like, at that point, I didn't care. But I just hate Howard Johnson. Hojo.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, like, this dude was a legit power threat from both sides of the plate. Like, there used to be a thing called switch hitter in baseball.
Sorry.
It's different now what switch hitters are, but there used to be things like this, other than Lindor. So I'm going to go with Hojo.
If I had to say, for no reason really other than he was on those teams, what was it, in the mid 90s or the late 90s and the early 2000s, the Subway Series era and all that dude, Edgardo Alfonso, that dude just had a face that I wanted to smack. And I guess because the Mets were a good team and they were on TV a lot, we had to see his face a lot and we had to see him. I don't know. I just couldn't stand the fucking guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I got one. Bartolo Colon, So why do we freaking adore this guy? I just read a whole article
He's
about how, every team he was on and all the stuff he did and blah, blah, blah. And he retired when he was 50 and so on and so forth. He hit a home run when he was 42. I wanted to punch this dude in the face every time he was on the mound for the Mets. Just, I don't know.
He's a fat motherfucker that made a farce of the game being a fat fuck.
Yeah. So, like, I get, like, they're baseball players, not athletes. I understand that. But he was just a mess, dude. He was like Pablo Sandoval. If Pablo Sandoval was on the Mets, he would be the same thing. So, I'm a Bartolo Colon.
He had the Santa thing going where he was fat and jolly and old, and everybody thought it was funny. But it's like a gimmick. He wasn't terrible, but he was just a fat dude who threw pitches.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Benny Agbayani.
Oh my God.
Just because it's like one of those other ones. It was just that punchable face. I didn't know how to fucking say his name at first. You see it on the back, you're like Agbayani. You're like, I just hated this dude. He wasn't good. He wasn't around long, but he was a Met, and that's good enough to hate for me.
Fucking right. All right. Well, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I live in East Norriton, which is right next to Norristown. I fucking hated Mike Piazza as a Met. I hated that whole. I just couldn't stand it. He just seemed like such a fraud in a Mets uniform, and that's it.
I have an interesting story that's absolutely true about Mike Piazza. So I was working, and I actually don't remember where I was working, but we were working there with a lady that was like older than me. And like, I don't know, I was like 17, 18. She was 28, 32, something like that. She swore that she was having Mike Piazza's baby. Like all the way went through. I'm like talking, these are like Netflix shit. If this was around now, like cut a fucking half a basketball, I think, or we think, putting it under there and just being like, oh yeah, Mike. And it's like, oh, how did Mike do last night? And she was a baseball fan. She was like, oh, he was, 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. But like, I hate him for that, because I don't know. I didn't see them together. But if they're really together, so good luck to Maria and Mike.
Right. Congratulations to her, right?
Yeah.
Vince Coleman. Hated when he got on first base because he'd probably be on third. Just another punchable face, in my opinion, that wore a Mets jersey. And I know he was mostly a Cardinal guy, but he was on the Mets too. So,
do you think like Steve Cohen and all the people before him, Bernie Madoff, are like, all right, let's look through the rosters. You have a picture of him? Oh yeah, I want to punch his face. They're gonna want to punch his face.
Right.
And I'm gonna go with Jesse Orosco. He falls absolutely into that category.
Correct.
A punchable face, out of shape, didn't respect the game, played for 50 years because he was left-handed.
Yep. I got another lefty for you from around that era.
Okay.
Well, I got one. If we come back around, I'll do the other one. But my first one is going to be, and this is as a Met, but also as an analyst in the fucking booth. Ron Darling needs to slip down some steps because he's a terrible fucking he's a terrible analyst, and I just couldn't stand him as a pitcher. And I remember him being one of those cards in the 85 top set where, it was his rookie card and everybody this is back when we were collecting cards and loving it. And like, oh, we got rookies. Little did we know that fucking 7 million people also had that card. And that Ron Darling card would always end up in the middle when we were flipping cards. And I never wanted to win. I never wanted to win that round of flipping because I was like, I fucking hate Ron Darling.
He reeked of arrogance to me.
Correct.
That's the thing that I always, because I think he's a Stanford grad. So he's like, oh, I go to the Ivy League of the West. There is no fucking Ivy League of the West.
Right. There's either the Ivy League or there's others.
Or there's not. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole host of really punchable current second baseman for the Mets, but I'm going to go back in the time machine about 10 years to Daniel Murphy.
Yeah.
Daniel Murphy was a Philly killer. and I wanted to beat his ass on several occasions. So I'll go with Daniel Murphy.
All right, so this will be the final round. This was fun, but I think this could be like a fucking 10-hour show.
Correct. We have a game
So
to
we have to
watch.
like cut it off at some
Yeah.
point.
We have a
So-
game to watch.
I'm going to call this dude Faker Timu Utley because that's who he is to me. This is the guy that, like, you know, thinks he's this gritty player and he's like real tough and hard-nosed guy, but he's a fucking bitch. Jeff McNeil, fuck you.
Fucking right. We were at the game the other night and they had his picture on the Jumbotron. And the thought popped into my head. I took the picture. I posted it on the page.
Yep.
Jeff McNeil looks like a fucking deadbeat dad. He looks like a guy who shows up for holidays with a bunch of presents that he fucking with money. He bought with money that he didn't earn. His mom gave it to him, and then he's done, and he fucking heads out in his fucking piece of shit car. So anyway,
He's got back payments. He's
I
definitely
also-
got back payments.
I also hate Jeff McNeil. But
All right.
the other one I was going to say was John Franco. I fucking
Yeah.
despise John Franco. Like, just the same arrogant, like that era. That I think it's that era of Met that I just despise. Pretty much from the beginning of time until now.
Yeah, from like 62 or
Right
so.
around there.
Like-
Right around there.
You opened the door with McNeil, so I'm going Nimmo. I can't stand. That's another dude. Like, I just want to run out on the field and punch him in the face. Dude, another Philly killer. Although this series he's been very quiet, so hope he stays quiet. But so just seems to be somebody that's clutch against just the Phillies, and I can't stand him. And he's like that same bravado, like you were talking about the Timu Utley. Like he thinks he's the shit. So
Yeah, Nimmo's a fucking dork.
He is a
Yo.
dork.
Yeah.
Running the first base
Yep.
when he walks.
Wally, Rabbit Teeth McNeil had a boy.
He's dead on. He's dead on.
Exactly. So, real quick on Nimmo, and then I'll move on. Nimmo,
Yeah.
I've always hated him, but he's one of those guys that if he was on your team, you would probably love.
Oh, yeah.
He
He
would-
would be like Dykstra here. Hated
Right.
him there. Love
Right.
him here.
Right.
You like Bader?
Well, yeah, and that leads me directly and fucking Dr. Segway over there too.
I got you.
So at the trade deadline, we were looking for some splashes. We got Duran. We were fucking psyched. And then they got Bader, and we were like this again. We got Austin Hayes 2.0, and he is anything but Austin Hayes. Let's be honest. Sometimes he's a bit much. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Chris, you were saying, maybe it's a selfish act to try to throw that ball home, and
Yeah.
it was. And at the time, I said I liked his enthusiasm. I still like the enthusiasm. I still like the fact that he enjoys being a Philly. He really likes playing baseball, which you can tell watching this guy. He likes to win. He likes being part of the clubhouse. He likes being in Philly. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm really happy with that pickup. And he is like, I know it's a popular opinion right now to be a Bader fan, but he's giving us every reason to be a Bader fan.
Yeah, I mean, he's a spark plug. The only negative I have to say about him at this point, and I'm going to say we probably DFA'd him a few times already this season, not in about the last 14 days. I'm really against half shirts on men.
You're not a DFA to half shirt, man.
I think, he makes enough
But-
money where like he can get a full shirt.
Right.
But,
Or
I
no
mean,
shirt.
he-
Like, whatever you got to do.
if he's trying to live up to his nickname of Biff from Back to the Future, then that was the style back then. So I'll give him a pass on that.
He has to wear mesh then if he's going to do that. It can't be like a regular tee. It's got to be like your like high school football one that's like mesh, right? Like I feel like I would accept that more.
Wally's on fire tonight.
Is
Wally might
anyone
be
watching?
having. No, there's a few. I think Wally's having some of Grandpa's cough medicine.
very
Possibly.
possible.
Bud's waking up. Bader's a junior nails.
Yeah.
We're down FTMs too. So if you're watching, like fucking bust in some FTMs. We need some of that FTM energy.
So Nancy, I haven't seen in a while, but there's one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We were putting out a fucking alert on Nancy for not being here.
I'm not really sure that's appropriate, but I think it's for the mesh shirt.
I thought he was talking about us.
I thought he was saying it's the Mets called up a guy called Pierce Nipples.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Papa John, let us know what you meant by that.
Please.
He might want ones with DPF on like the end, and he already has, and he's just looking to switch his out. Hey, we're here for it. Oh, Katie, nice.
We'll create them.
So Katie, Katie is Wally's daughter, and Katie sent me a picture of Wally, her dad, and wearing Drunk Phil stuff, and I fucked with her. I was like, "Who's this guy?" She's like, "It's Wally," and I was like, "I'm only messing with you, Katie." She's like, "Jesus Christ!" They had us over to their house in Clearwater, so that's the family that did that. We were like, "Yeah, we'll just stop by for one." We were there for like I don't know. Wally had at least double figure beers, and I didn't want to fucking make an animal of myself, so I had double figures. But a couple of them I just drank in the fucking bathroom. I kept going to the bathroom. I was like, I feel weird like pounding the beers here.
Made sure that you didn't drink more than the host in public.
Yeah, it was because I didn't bring anything, because like we were like going just to bars up and down, and like the bar was closed. I was like, why is it closed? And Wally's like, Chris, it's like fucking 10:30 on a Sunday.
Right.
I was like, oh, all right, I don't know.
Everybody's in church but us. Why don't you come over and drink?
Yeah. So I was like, there we go. So Sig and Alex with the FTMs. Yeah, what the hell else do we want to talk about here? So well, what do you have? Yeah.
Well, no, I was saying we talked about what's coming up. We already went through that. So Chris, what do you feel about home field?
So with the home field advantage here, it's right now, I think we're 2 behind the Brewers. I'm not worried about playing in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's like the least of my personal worries. I'd worry about the Dodgers are 48-26 at home. So I'd prefer to have, I'd prefer to have home field advantage over them. Obviously, you want home field advantage if it's the Mets, because you're losing too, because they got fucking binoculars and drones and all this other
AI,
shit. Yeah, and if you guys remember, and I don't know the splits on it this year, but remember, like, we're pitching Sanchez away because he's not good home, or it might have been vice versa. I wonder if we have that concern. And I wonder if that's going to dictate, like Wheeler, he'd be good either way. So it's like Wheeler's your number one. I don't think that we have a clear number one if Sanchez's splits are different at home and away, because we're going to the playoffs, and Sanchez is the ideal and obvious number one guy.
Right.
Yeah. So the splits used to be he was way better at CBP, and this year he's straight up almost even.
Okay, so it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Then part of the other races, Cincinnati and San Fran are 2 behind. I didn't see what they did today, but if we can meet the Mets again, it's 1 game possibly if either of those team wins. San Fran is terrible at home. Really, they're like 500, which is like for a playoff team, like that's not good enough, right? You have to be at least a couple games up. You'd love to play those. Padres, like, you got to have home field advantage against these dudes, 44-27. Like that's a tough place to play.
Don't sleep on Arizona. They're 3.5 back, and we got them for 3 games. We need to win that series too.
3.5 back. Yeah, Arizona. That's another one that's like, And then Cincinnati, like they're 40-34 at home. It's an appropriate, they're like almost there. Then they're, on the road, they're 34-38. I would love for the end of this season to be the Mets getting knocked out.
Yes.
So the Mets have a tiebreaker against the Giants. So if they and the Giants end up tied with the same record, Mets will go in. But the Reds do have the tiebreaker on the Mets. So let's root for both. Or
no?
What was that?
Do we know Arizona's tiebreaker or no?
I don't know Arizona's tiebreaker. Yeah, I don't, because they kind of weren't on my radar with 3.5. I was like looking at the 2.5s. Milwaukee's another team. They're good on the road and they're good away, but that's what happens when you have the best record. It's
Right.
like their home and away record are really, really close to being identical, 42-26 and 43-32. So like they're the same team. They play the same way. We saw them. We know who this Pat Murphy dude is. Like he's a guy who's going to play fucking baseball. And I think he's a guy that will outmanage Rob Thompson.
Yeah.
There's been talk, and this is inquiry, I don't know if it's Marcus Hayes, that Rob Thompson is by far and away the leader for NL Manager of the Year because, you know, number one pitcher goes down, number two pitcher goes down, you know, this guy goes down, this guy goes down, the outfield he has to kind of play this game with. The beginning of the season was, and I'm like, he's making a good point, but this dude's a buffoon, and I just don't see it. Like, I don't know. But
No, it's very true, and it's the worst thing that could happen is if he wins Manager of the Year, right? The worst thing for I think us and the Phillies moving forward, because I mean it's great for Topper Chronicles. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But you can write those no matter what. You can write those no matter if he's unemployed and fucking hanging out in Tim Hortons. That's fine. But I've heard a lot of that too, where you know Phillies fan. It is said that we are hard, not just us drunk Phillies fans, but Phillies fans in general, hard on Topper, but that he is a good manager, and it's just because we criticize every single move he makes. And I say, yeah, but we've watched. We've seen this. We've seen him make some really shitty decisions, and a lot of times his best decision is to do nothing.
that's his move. And it kind of works, right? Because think about it. He also went through Max Kepler bitching earlier this year, Nick doing whatever he did. And you know Nick's not happy right now.
Right.
And he's still playing and still being productive. So, like, there is some merit to this. But
It's not completely
tough.
unfounded.
Yeah, there's merit to it.
Going back to Arizona and the Mets, their series tied 3-3 this year. They have no more games. So if they tie, they're going to have to play a playing game.
Okay.
Wow.
So 3-3, they'll tie. All right. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. I think if the Mets get, you know, not in the playoffs, we can kind of feel pretty good that we kicked them out of the playoffs because
100%.
you lose 4 in a row, you know, knock on wood, if we can do them that way tonight.
Right.
I think it's an important milestone. Do you remember how desolate you felt when we got our asses swept up there?
Yes.
And like
It's
it was
horrible.
It was
And
like
it wasn't that long ago.
No, it was fresh. So I'm like, all right, I'm still, you know, I don't forget that, but like we've already won 3 of 3, but I really want to come out of this like with momentum.
Yes.
And be done with this. I don't want to see a letdown tonight. We got fucking Weston Wilson playing. I think he's playing second base or shortstop. I'm like, this dude, they're just like, Weston, there's a left-hander that no one else can hit. Just go out there. Yeah,
Right.
just go out
Go
there.
play somewhere.
But, you know, like Harper, they were talking about Gold Glove. He's not bad. But what Harper is bad at first, he will not stop running towards a clear second baseman's ball. And then there's no one there to tag. And he just keeps doing it. He doesn't fucking learn it. And I'm like, just stay there. Stott has this range. If Stott's there, dude, if Stott can't get it, you can't get it.
Right. Cover the
You're not going to help it.
Right.
So then he's, you know, missing the bag. So, guys, we're coming up on that witching hour. So let's kind of go around and let's give our last thoughts for tonight.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with you. I think I would love a 4-game sweep against the Mets after they swept us at Citi Field. The momentum going into the weekend, I think there's some serious series coming up that we need to compete in, and that'll give us momentum going in. I really like how you know, the outfield has shook out. I'm really loving Bader. The energy at the ballpark last night, although not 40,000, there was 38 almost 39,000 there was really good for, a Wednesday night in the beginning of the school year. I thought it was awesome. And so that, some momentum on the field going into Red October, like gives me goosebumps talking about it. So I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks. Just a really quick, because the Butcher has "fuck the Mets" and "fuck cancer" on his little nameplate there. If you're 45 years old or older and you haven't gotten a colonoscopy yet, what the fuck are you waiting for? Save my life. Go do it. It's not that bad for prep. Trust me. It's 2025. You don't have to drink a gallon of this fucking shit anymore. Some Gatorade and some laxatives, dude. Go do it. It could save your life. Butcher.
Yes. I will make this quick. I have a couple things, and if I don't forget them because my ADD is kicking in. First and foremost, Mike, thank you for mentioning that about getting your colonoscopy going. We're thinking about you. Get well. Everybody's supporting them on the page. We appreciate that. So trying to get better. So real quick, I just want to say that we went the other night, and Mike, you're right. The atmosphere is just about to playoff level. It's not quite there. So the fans, it's time to step it up. Every game, every pitch, every at-bat, get on your feet when you're at the games. Get nuts, fucking cheer this team on, let them feel it so that they know what Red October is going to be here. My other thing is tonight, win or lose, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to root for the Phillies. I'm going to shout fuck the Mets. I'm going to post stupid shit and make memes and do all that dumb shit on the page.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love baseball. We all love baseball. We love the Phillies. I need an escape. Let's just call it what it is. I'm going to go enjoy baseball because it's fucking joyful. Win or lose, it's fucking joyful. So I'm going to go fucking watch some baseball tonight and enjoy it. And I encourage a lot of other people to go do that.
Yeah, stay with us because we'll be posting all night. Guys, that's awesome. It's a getaway day. It is a possibility of sweep. That's all been like reasons why the Phillies don't. But you know what? This time, let's do it. So everyone get your fucking brooms out and let's post pictures of brooms. Don't do it on the Mets sites. Like, don't be a piece of shit and do that. Like, just don't do it. They want to come on to our site and do it. Just
they'll see them on our site. They're on it.
Yeah, they're already on it already. So they'll see the brooms that are coming out. So I really appreciate you tuning in with us early. Next week, we're going to be on Thursday, 7:00. We're going to have Doug from Well Crafted Brewery on, talking about his beers, talking about Well Crafted in Ambler and Lansdale. So tune in for that one. We're still going to be talking sports, and maybe by that time, we'll be talking about the Mets being out of the playoffs. I'm going to leave everyone with a final thought, and I'd like you to answer this in the post. Would you rather the Phillies play the Mets in the playoffs and knock them out, or would you rather the Mets not make it at all? What's more important to you, or what would feel better after last year? So, thank you. Good night, and catch them on Fox tonight, them motherfuckers. So,
give us a 5-star review if you like us, guys.
Yeah, or give us 4 stars and tell us what the fuck's wrong. We're also we're good with that too.
Absolutely.
That Mets fans just don't do it. Don't be fucking assholes, because I'm not going on your dickhead, fucking podcast and giving you 1 star. Just don't be assholes in that. So, all right, good night, everyone. Go Phils.
Peace.
Fuck the Mets.
Go Phils. Fuck the Mets. Fuck Joe Carter. Fuck Nell Carter.